Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening, everyone. Well, first tonight, the battle to bestow Edward Teddy Sheehan with the Victoria Cross is nearly won. The Tasmanian ordinary seaman who sacrificed his life to save his mates in World War II is set to receive our highest honour after an expert panel secured crucial evidence.
Strapped to his sinking ship, Teddy Sheehan fought to the end. So too did his most enduring supporters.
Hopefully this is it. We've got him recognised for what he deserves to get.
With scant regard for self, Teddy defied orders to abandon ship. Struck twice by enemy bullets, the wounded 18-year-old returned fire, shooting down a Japanese aircraft and shielding his shipmates until the HMAS Armidale had sunk. Teddy still at his post. That bravery now deemed worthy of the Victoria Cross after new evidence supporting Teddy's story was found in Japanese military records.
Let Teddy Sheehan inspire us to be a people that are selfless, caring and brave.
To Teddy's fiercest advocates, today's breakthrough rights a long-standing wrong, overruling past inquiries which found Teddy's actions either didn't warrant a Victoria Cross or that his story was merely a myth. The ship's sole living survivor, Ray Leonard, is overwhelmed by the outcome.
And he was still firing his gun as the ship went down.
He knew it was Teddy. He got to the lifeboats and he knew right then and there when his mate said in the lifeboats, "Did you see what Teddy did? Did you see what Teddy did?" Ray Leonard knew that Teddy gave his life for his mates.
With the Prime Minister's blessing, the final checkbox now rests with the Queen. Her approval will ascend Teddy, the lowest ranked sailor on that ship, to the rarest of company.
Out of our 100 Victoria Cross recipients, not one from the Navy. Today is your day. Have a beer on us tonight, all members of the Royal Australian Navy. This one's for you.
And they led by example. Tom Johnson, 7 Tasmania News.
2 women are recovering in hospital following a 2-car collision near Fawcett, which closed a busy stretch of highway for several hours. Police say investigations suggest weather conditions played a role, using the incident to remind motorists to take care on icy roads.
A horror sight for first responders. One car a crumpled wreck, the other badly damaged after 2 vehicles collided on the Arthur Highway at Fawcett just before 8 a.m.
A green Honda CR-V driven by a 53-year-old woman from Primrose Sands collided with a black Nissan Dualis that was travelling in the opposite direction. That was driven by a 27-year-old woman from Gilston Bay.
Emergency crews rushing to the scene near Inala Road, working to free one of the drivers from their car. 2 women rushed to hospital for treatment.
They're currently at the Royal Hobart Hospital in a stable condition and injuries at this stage don't appear to be life-threatening.
Traffic along the Arthur Highway was closed for a number of hours as police spent the morning trying to piece together what caused the crash. Authorities say early investigations suggest weather conditions could have been a contributing factor. Temperatures this morning dropping to nearly 0 in the region.
It was very cold, icing conditions on not only the Arthur Highway, but there's icing conditions throughout on Tasmanian roads.
Police now urging drivers across the state to be wary when travelling during the coldest periods of the day.
It's a timely reminder, wherever you're driving throughout Tasmania, throughout these cold conditions, to be safe and take your time on Tasmanian roads.
Anyone who saw the incident or has dashcam vision is asked to contact police. John Hunt, 7 Tasmania News.
A Tasmanian man has faced court after driving off at a police checkpoint on the Victorian and South Australian border. The 45-year-old initially flew to Adelaide on Sunday but was turned back to Melbourne after failing to fill out forms. It's alleged he then drove to the border later that day and passed through a checkpoint despite being refused entry by officers. He was charged with failing to comply with COVID-19 directions. Tasmania now has more muscle to test for COVID-19 thanks to a suite of new machines at the Royal Hobart Hospital. More than 1,000 tests can now be processed each day, preparing the state for any potential outbreak.
Meet the legends of the lab. If coronavirus tries to return to Tassie, these are the people who will find it.
So the process actually starts when the specimens arrive in big eskies. Most of ours come from the COVID clinics.
Everyday tests for the deadly virus pass through these machines. Up to 600 can be processed. Now, thanks to a major new upgrade, they can do more, a lot more.
What this additional space and additional equipment will do will allow us to be able to test up to 1,000 people per day on a sustainable basis.
And if push really comes to shove...
So we think we can get up to about 1,800 to 2,000 tests a day.
Putting the state in prime position to handle another outbreak, like the one seen at the North West Regional Hospital. It could also help processing for Victoria, still swamped by a second wave.
And this expanded capacity here means that we potentially have further capacity to assist them if that helps Victoria.
All up, more than 74,000 COVID tests have passed through the hands of Tasmanian scientists. Meanwhile, Australian Bureau of Statistics figures released today put Tasmania above the rest in 3 key areas. In May, 75% of us stayed at home, 98% kept their distance from others, and 100% said they changed their behaviours. Sean McComish, 7 Tasmania News.
Well, worrying new research has found more Tasmanians are falling victim to online scams, prompting a warning from authorities for people to be vigilant with their cyber safety.
This year's lockdown saw more Tasmanians turning online to connect with their loved ones and for entertainment. But an innocent pastime can turn into a sinister experience.
If you think about all of the different accounts that you've got online for everything that you do online, most of those are tied back to an email address. And if your security on that email address isn't very strong and someone breaks into that, they can actually gain access to a whole bunch of other platforms.
In a recent federal group survey, nearly 50% of respondents said they were more concerned about their safety and security since the pandemic began, with over 2/3 spending more time online.
We're asking parents to do regular checks on the apps and computers that kids are using to make sure that their security settings are very safe, and really be on the lookout for smart devices at home being hacked as well. That's certainly something that Interpol are warning us about.
Libraries across the state are running a free program teaching people how to stay cyber safe.
Libraries around the state offer courses through Be Connected, and we've also got a video, so if people aren't able to come into the library to do the course, there's a 25-minute session on e-safety on our Facebook page as well.
Elizabeth O'Neill, 7 Tasmania News.
Well, many Tasmanians have had to find new ways to exercise, with gyms shut down for the bulk of this year due to the pandemic. But for former Queenslander Fran Castles, the reopening of the Mowbray gym she attends means far more than just a workout.
When I first came down here, I didn't know a soul, so I was quite lonely, and I used to just go out for coffee by myself and read the paper, and I thought, no, I can't stay at home. And then all of a sudden I keep seeing this advertised, so I rang up about it, and here I am, and I haven't looked back.
It's an activity that promotes, health and longevity. It also has a significant impact on their mental health.
The Wellness Centre has opened with shorter session times to allow for extra cleaning. Drivers on the Bass Highway passing through Sassafras are greeted by a peculiar sight, a tractor on a pole. But what you don't see is the vast vintage tractor collection which inspired it. Today we caught up with the man behind the local landmark.
If you've ever driven the Bass Highway at Sassafras, chances are you've seen the tractor on a pole. But why is it there? Turns out it's the gateway to a treasure trove of tractors, 65 in all, meticulously maintained by master collector David Perry.
We started them up this morning. The shed was full of smoke and diesel fumes and all the rest of it. I thought it was Christmas. I thought it was good.
David's been collecting and restoring these farming workhorses for 20 years. To him, they're like family, each with their own character and a story to be told.
A bit like a human being, I guess they have got a personality. If you don't know how they start, you won't start them. And every tractor is different. And They got character.
David's passion will be preserved by passing on his knowledge to his grandchildren, who are now adding to this assembly themselves.
I've got two myself, yeah. We've restored one and partway through another now, and sort of on the bit of a lookout for another one if one pops up.
Of all the tractors in his collection, David's favourite is this one. It's an extremely rare Howard platypus. Besides the fact it was built in England, very little is known about the machine, including how it even made its way to Tasmania. His best guess is it was a prototype sent here to test the local market. But solving the mysteries behind the machines and taking good care of them only drives David's devotion.
We've created a relationship, if you like. You put 3 or 4 hours in of the night and you're working away, and then you go and have a beer and finish the day off. She's a great life.
Tom Johnson, 7 Tasmania News. To the RACT Insurance TSL Player of the Year votes now after round 5. Dylan Riley's 4-goal haul sees him take the votes in Launceston's win over North Hobart. North Launceston's Jackson Callow was best of field in the victory over Lauderdale. And ball magnet Kieran Lovell takes 3 votes in the Tigers' breakthrough win over Clarence. To the leaderboard now, Lovell is tied with the Blues' Joby Harper on 7 votes. Josh McGuinness and Dylan Riley are locked on 6. Still on TSL, North Launceston tall Alex Lee says he was happy to stay out of Lauderdale's tough tactics on the weekend. The ruckman had the edge in a typically fiery contest between the sides. A side's greatest frustration is gifting an easy goal. Sharon Egger enjoyed a 100-metre penalty on the weekend to finish off Lauderdale.
It's probably something that I always tend to keep away from, try to play my own game.
Ruckman Alex Lee let his skills do the talking, named in the best players after flying high over Hayden Smith and Sam Siggins. Also pleasing, debutant Bainen Lowe slotting a major on debut.
Bainen's been playing well in the D-League the last couple of weeks, so he earned the call up after some good form.
Kingborough is also smiling after joining the winners list for the first time this year, and according to midfielder Will Campbell, it means a lot to the young side.
It was a relief, but I guess it just gives the boys a bit more belief that we are good enough to compete and win games in this competition.
In the NPL, Kingborough remains undefeated after a 2-0 win over Launceston City. The coach says he didn't expect to be in such a strong position so early on.
You know, as anyone would say, competition within the team is the best motivation for the players.
Richie Port came from way back in the pack to make a play in the Tour de l'Un. Port was threatening in the final kilometres, putting in a number of bursts, but his push was doomed, finishing 5th. The Tasmania's next race is the Criterium de Dauphiné, something he's finished runner-up in twice. Round 2 of the Tasmanian Grass Track Series reached Deloraine over the weekend. Kyron Bacon won King of the Paddock after chasing down Round 1 champion Jonty Reinders. Hugh Mackay finished 3rd. The next round takes place in Yolla next month. And Alex Peroni's disastrous Silverstone campaign has ended with damage to his front wing on the very first lap overnight. The Tasmanian limped to the pits and finished the race in last place.
Good evening. After a chilly start, most temperatures were close to or above average today. Hobart 13, Launceston and Burnie 12, Devonport 11. Another amazing set of numbers for Lyowini, minus 12 overnight, but really motored today, warming up by 23 degrees from that low. Grove and King Island, our high with 14. Smithton, St Helens and Friendly Beaches 13. Flinders Island, Low Head and Strawn 12. Now, low cloud surrounds Tasmania with most of the state under clear skies today. So we look a bit wider. An extensive cloud band extends from the Indian Ocean to near Adelaide and then over the Southern Ocean. The low off New South Wales has cloud gathering there. Tomorrow a high moves over the eastern states. A complex low fills up the bight ahead of the next high. Winds northeast northwesterly reaching 20 knots over western and southern waters. Variable winds over the lakes at just 5 to 10 knots. Another chilly night has the Bureau issuing a road weather alert for ice on susceptible roads in the morning. For Hobart, partly cloudy and 13, 9 the top for Adventure Bay, morning frost for Tarraleah, minus 5 to 13 the temperature range. 13 for Launceston and cloudy, Devonport the same, Bridport cloudy and 13. Burnie expecting a cloudy day, 12 the top, a bit warmer in Strawn, 15 tomorrow and 13 for Marrawar. And sunny in the east, St Helens and early frost, sunny in the afternoon, 15 the top, 14 for Swansea and Whitemark. On Wednesday, rain developing over the northwest with light showers extending elsewhere later. Showers across the state on Thursday, heavier over the northwest. East-northeasterly winds on Friday with another showery day. Showers easing from Perth tomorrow, 18 degrees there. Rain developing for Adelaide, a cloudy day in Melbourne. Partly cloudy weather also for Sydney and Brisbane. 7 right now in Hobart and clear, 6 degrees in Launceston, 7 in Devonport. And Kim, many people tuned in last night for a very special event, but were left disappointed. But we're about to rectify that now.
Oh, we certainly are, Murph. Well, of course, after last night's power failure, we did not get to give Rachel the send-off that she so much deserves. Rachel, it was a bizarre bulletin for you last night, wasn't it?
Kim, it certainly was. Definitely not one that I was expecting, but certainly a very memorable one indeed. So, to all of our loyal viewers, thank you so much for the past 10 years that I've been bringing you your weekend news. It certainly has been an absolute honour and I've loved every minute. But for now, I do look forward to spending more weekends relaxing with my husband and my 3 beautiful boys. So for the final time, thank you for joining us. I'm Rachel Williams. Good night.
Look, they're a day old, Rach, but I think they're still great.
They're beautiful.
Well done.
Thank you so much. I'm very honoured. Thank you. It won't be long before the Eastern Shore is transformed. Tamar residents say they're disappointed in the process. Interest in Marcus Ambrose's last race on home soil has seen ticket sales soar. The case continues tomorrow. Rachel Williams, Southern Cross News. Rachel Williams, Southern Cross News.
And Rachel Williams joins us now with a look at the day's sport news.
Thanks, Joe. After the break, Essendon star James Hird plays the guessing game.
News with Rachel Williams.
Partygoers gathered around the state to see in 2011. Now with all the day's sport news, here's Trent Dan.
Thanks, Rachel.
Well, sport is next with Alicia Muelling, and Geelong has a win at the Gabba.
Yeah, that's right, Rach.
And that's a big night in sport from me, Joe. From Joe.
Rachel. It's all right. I am Rachel Williams, and thanks for your company. Good night. Welcome to the Overland Track. Thousands of people come from around the world to experience this 65-kilometre track through Tasmania's beautiful scenery. But never before has this track seen a story of such courage and kindness. This is Overland Jack. The East Coast was the place to be today with above average temperatures. Friendly beaches recorded these states. Whoa, that's a little bit zoomed in. I'll have more news for you in around an hour's time. I'll slow that down.
Some great weather for our weekend activities, golf for me and the beach for you.
Yes, well, don't go losing your balls, Murph. That's all your news for now. I'll be back later with updates. Good night.